All right. Good morning, everyone. We are. Let me post this in Discord real fast and tweet it out and stuff. I know that everybody's doing their NFL stuff right now, so I plan on being off in like 40 minutes or something. Give you guys an hour to still do your stuff there because I don't want to completely take everything away from you. Yet again, the way that this starting grid is laid out, I am such a fan of it. Even though the two races yesterday did not work out, I am very, very, very happy with the ownerships, with the lineup construction that we saw in both races yesterday. Specifically, the people in the back yesterday in Xfinity. I think it's a very similar way today. Let me just do this. DFS right now. Feel free to drop any opinions, and thank you, Wes. I know it was. Wait a minute. I know Darren took down. It was either. I know he took down $1,000 yesterday. I know a lot of people did well. Yet again, I was being really aggressive. I put 300 in for the trucks, got back 83. So lost 220, and then didn't cash at all on Xfinity. But I know a lot of the people who weren't just like punting in the back did incredibly well yesterday in the truck series. So that is always awesome to see. Let me just put this here. DraftKings, FanDuel, NASCAR. This is I am NASCAR playoffs. Why not? Yes. I absolutely love this slate. I'll put it on the screen, and if you guys watch the video that I did on Friday, very, very similar in terms of where I think ownership is going to play out. And let me go ahead and bring this stuff up on the screen. Let me take my lines off here. Let me get that there. Let me get this opened up. I think it is very much an ownership game today, as it always is. I know we have questions, and I have questions in Patreon and stuff related to, Kyle Busch and everybody like that. And I am going to go ahead and show a bit of the Talladega sheet yet again. It's the second day of the month. If you would like to join us and support us on Patreon, I would very much appreciate that. Let me go ahead and add this here. Let me share screen. And we'll show this slightly, and then I'll use my other tab and kind of highlight where I want to go with lines. But I do want to show this because it's Talladega and stuff. If you guys support us, you do have access to this stuff and all the other sheets that we do. But I'm trying to get one last purchase from everybody during this last month, or before we get to November. This is Pearce's projections. His projections are based off of some of their best finishes, and I mean, really, I think this is how you should do projections. Just project everybody to like actually finish in the top 20 and stuff. But when we look specifically at, and we can do this in two different ways, and I think this is why I like looking at this column as well, on top of looking at let me hide that. Thank Christ I have two screens, except my camera's right in the way there. Let's go ahead and move on over real quick and look at the finishing positions, because I think this is what people are going to be looking at the most. Let's go ahead and get Atlanta on there. My mouse is dying as well. When we look back here, we see the people who are finishing well. We see, or the races where people have finished well, the races that people have wrecked out. And we need to really go ahead and look at it. Like, look, yes, this race can either go green or it can be a wreck fest. Drivers will either play safe because they're afraid to die, or they're going to race stupid because they're a bunch of idiots. Okay, we choose that road. Okay, I always just build for them wrecking. Okay, and this is basically just going to be the same video that we did Friday, trying to use the same logic that we used to find ownership or explain ownership in the previous race, and use it for this here. So when we're looking at this race here, Thank God we don't have, we don't have to worry about Gregson because he's starting way up here in the 48. We don't have to worry about Reagan. So our punt play, there's only like 3 true punts in this race. It's BJ, Yaley, and Ware. And so personally for me, I don't believe that we're going to see a gigantic increase from them being at like 3 to 6 or 7% owned. I don't think they're going to even jump up to double digits because of the amount of people and the good drivers starting in the back. And so when we look here, Todd Gilliland, the man has been, I mean, when we look at how he's finishing, okay, fine, 23rd, 27th, might not be the greatest finishing stuff here, but when we look at a very similar play last year with Anthony Alfredo, nobody played him, and he ended up being optimal in the fall race last year, starting a few places back. Gilliland is running up front, okay? And I'm going to not really focus on the fact that people are going to run up front because I think we're going to have wrecks up front. It just depends on how lucky these guys are at avoiding wrecks. But when we look at Todd Gilliland and the amount of times have been optimal, haven't been optimal. But as I've said, this exact same car with Anthony Alfredo was optimal. Drivers in the same situation have been optimal. When we look back at the top 6 and we look back at how many times this little area back here has been optimal, why has this been optimal? Why has 30th been optimal so much? Why has 27th been optimal so much? 24, 25th. Why are these guys popping off here? Because it's good equipment that is, better than the back markers. Guys that are going to be running up front who can gain a lot of positions. Okay, Gilliland really does fit that mold there. I think Gilliland's probably the most popular play back here in the 30s. When we look at LaJoy as well, people are going to see this. He's been optimal 6 times, when we look at his finishing positions, and I'm going to not use the mouse because I'm afraid I might grab something. When we look at how he has been performing at these races, I talked about it on the show on Friday. He's a liar. I don't like him. LaJoy is just a loser, but he's very consistent at these plate races. He rides in the back. He is going to finish better than he started, even in situations where he's wrecked out. When he wrecked out in the August race, okay, still finished 30th. These guys finished better than where they're going to start. It was the same thing with like Lawless Allen and Dean Thompson yesterday. They both gained 2 positions. If that race turns into a wreck fest, them with 8 and 9 points are going to be outscoring people. I think LaJoy is probably going to be the priority back here when people are looking at stacking from the back or like trying to fill out there. We got to get 4 guys from 22nd on back and 2 guys from whatever the case is up there. McDowell should be the next guy in line here due to the fact that he's been optimal so many times. When we look back at his finishing positions, I understand he went through this spell of really truly DNF and a ton at Talladega, but when we look back at how many races he does finish, McDowell makes it through races. It's kind of bullshit that he won the 500. I just wish he would have just stayed winless, but when we look at these races, he's right on the back. Okay, these wrecks that are happening here in these fall races are due to the wrecks at the end of the race. Okay, and look, Talladega is going to get caught up in wrecks. That's just how it is. You're either going to make it or you're not going to make it. But when we look at the percentage of him actually making it through races compared to people like Kyle Busch, compared to people like Stenhouse Jr., people are going to gravitate towards Michael McDowell. People are going to gravitate towards Corey LaJoy. People are going to gravitate towards Todd Gilliland. Okay, people are going to not correlate. People are going to play Bubba Wallace. Bubba Wallace is over 50% owned in the Daytona race. Basically starting, I think he was starting 30th or 29th. He's starting 27 today. I think Bubba Wallace is probably going to be the highest owned driver on the slate because people understand how he races, how he runs, how he goes about things. Okay, I think Bubba Wallace is going to carry ownership, and the reason why I'm looking at it this way is because we need to identify where people are going to go with these lines, where our pivots are and stuff. So if we look at Gilliland, LaJoy, McDowell, Wallace, I think people are going to gravitate towards Kyle Busch. We see how many times have been optimal. We saw his ownership peak be above, I think, like 24%, which is huge at this point. We're going to probably see Kyle Busch as the top 10 ownership play today because he's starting 29th. I understand that people are concerned of him not just finishing races, but look, Kyle is either going to finish 30th or he's going to finish in the top 15. That's just how it is when we see him at $9,900, especially when people are not focusing on this race. They're focusing on the NFL. They're focusing on the 12-game slate. I think Kyle Busch carries quite a bit of ownership, and I think Harvick does as well. I think these are probably the guys they're going to focus on, or that the field is going to focus on. I think Stenhouse, and I'm kind of talking about this in 2 different ways. Like, clearly my attacking strategy is like 28th on back. because I want to be very aggressive because ownership is going to center around a lot of these guys in the 20s. Like the reason I'm not trying to sound contradicting or anything, but when people are, chasing, how these optimal lineups look, oops, when they're chasing how these optimal lineups look, whether it's Talladega Fall Race, whether it's whatever the case is, whatever they're looking at, we're not seeing a tons of 30 plays, but we're seeing a lot of guys in the 20s, like Busher. Wow, basically starting the same spot this week. Alfredo, as I said, basically starting the same spot as Todd Gilliland. Wow, more guys in the 20s. These are good cars starting in the 20s. Good cars. This is Atlanta, but good cars starting in the 20s. Where are we at? We need more Degas. Good cars starting in the 20s or in the 30s and stuff. And so when I think a lot of ownership this week is going, I'm going to actually move here so I can start highlighting stuff. Let me clear these off, and I will look at the chat in a moment. I just kind of want to get through this. Like, I think a lot of people are going to be like, wow, you told me I can play Harvick, I can play Kyle Busch, Bubba Wallace, McDowell, LaJoy together. Like, I think that's going to be, these types of guys here are going to carry ownership. Chris Buescher, like these guys right here are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think these 7 guys, I think 2 of them for sure make a majority of lineups, if not 3, because these are great cars in the back. People are scared to play Stenhouse because he's Wreckhouse. People are going to play Bubba. They're probably going to stack him with Kyle Busch. They're probably going to start migrating to doing a JGR stack back here. And so we're going to highlight Truex as well. And the reason I'm highlighting them is because I think this is where ownership, really does center around this week. And the reason why I want to be so aggressive on these guys back here, not only due to the fact that we can have a wreck fest, not because I'm chasing what happened at Daytona, but this is a situation. We're not even including Chase Elliott starting 16th. Elliott always carries ownership. We saw him carry fucking ownership starting 2nd at Daytona or wherever he started. People are going to play Chase Elliott starting 16th. People are going to play Ryan Blaney. Same. This is the exact same situation as the summer Daytona race, where we have Ryan Blaney starting between 15th and 20th. Why would you play Austin Dillon? Why would you play Haley? Why would you play Keselowski or Cindric when you could play Ryan Blaney? These are who the field is going to play. I would not be shocked to see these be the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many guys this is? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I would not be shocked to see these 10 drivers be in the top 15 highest owned today. Okay. So once we identify that, or how I look at lines and how I want to focus on lines and stuff, once we identify that these guys are going to be in the top 15 owned, I'm not going to play them. I don't want to play them. Everybody in this race, I've always looked at it as 50%. I think it's even higher. Okay. I would argue every single driver in this race has a 65% chance to wreck. So why am I going to play Bubba Wallace when he's going to be above 40%? Why am I going to play Ryan Blaney when he's going to be above, 35%? Why am I going to play any of these guys when, I can play Ty Dillon, who isn't as appealing? And maybe he is appealing because Ty Dillon used to almost always be optimal. I don't know if this is going back far enough, but look at these finishes that Ty Dillon has had. Ty Dillon races smart. We might have to add Ty Dillon to this as well, or at least be aware. But when we look at how Ty Dillon finishes these races, this was with Germain Race, and I don't think it's much crazier than him with GMS right now when to finish these races. Same thing here. I would play him like crazy. Ty Dillon is going to ride. He's not going to race stupid. He understands, the way you finish well in these races is to finish the race, and so I'm going to go ahead and I'm not going to make him as green. But this is where it centers around, because if you're playing anybody up here, in my opinion, it's dead money. I think that's a bad play. Okay. When we actually get to, stacking from the back, and like if the cutoff point for people is 22nd, we'll take 4 of these guys and 2 of these guys. You like that? I think that's how a lot of people are going to build lines. Okay. So why, yet again, am I going to reiterate that I don't think we see a gigantic push just because of the parlay that people have seen left and right, just because of the nature of how Daytona went, and it's like drilled in your mind. I don't think it goes that way. If people play emotionally, they've gotten burned with Xfinity because they didn't. I don't know how the fuck that happened. I don't know how everybody finished that race. That was amazing. I just wanted them to fucking die like with 4 to go. That would have been awesome. Oh, nobody up there. Yet again, that's what I try and aim for. But Ware, Yaley, BJ, Castle, Allgaier is not concerning, but the biggest question mark for me, because Beard Motorsports specifically tells their drivers to ride, be there late at the end. In the wreck that Allgaier, first off, Allgaier does not race like that in Xfinity because he doesn't have to. He has a good car. In the wreck that he got involved in last year in the fall race, he was running up there. He got involved in that wreck, due to circumstance, due to bad luck, but he was up there because he was running. Now, this was in the Spire 77 car under a different MO than Beard, but my biggest concern is Allgaier in terms of what he will do. I have no clue how he's going to approach the race. I know for a fact Castle, not even for a fact, I think Castle plays it smart, realizes that he has to ride. BJ, Yaley, where they realize they're going to have to ride. I like that. Allgaier, biggest question mark for me is I don't know what he's going to do. When we get to Stenhouse is going to race, okay? He is absolutely going to go up there and race. I think if you are considering playing JGR, if you like Bubba Wallace, if you like Harvick, just play Stenhouse. First off, he's a better driver, honestly, a better plate racer. Nobody wrecks people. He knows what he's doing. Okay, we always see him up there. He has no teammate. He is going to be selfish. He's racing for himself. We always see Stenhouse, doing stupid moves because that's just how he races. Okay, there's no difference in my opinion, between Stenhouse and Bubba Wallace today. So if you're thinking about playing Bubba Wallace, I would advise you to just fade Bubba. Hope he gets involved in a wreck. Maybe hope that he flies backwards into the wall and he, has a career in an incident, and play Stenhouse, so you don't have to worry about that. I think Cole Custer is a fantastic play for the same reason. Good car in the back, good not like manufacturer is the reason, but like in terms of horsepower, like when we look back at Daytona, okay, that's telling. When we look at the last 30 laps of that race post the rain wreck, Ware, Yaley, BJ, these guys, I mean, you can visibly see the difference in speed. I mean, it's not gigantic. The draft does help and stuff, and they were able to drive back up and be there as a pack taking the checkered flag. But, the speed that they have, the launch speed, it takes a lot longer for them to be that fast. Like go back and watch that last 30 laps. You can see that the Rick Ware cars, BJ, and specifically for Live Fast, you could tell that they're just not as fast. They don't have the aerodynamic capabilities, and that's fine. The draft negates that type of stuff. But head to head between Custer and these guys back here, Custer has the better car. He has the better motor behind him. Between Bubba Wallace, Kyle Busch, McDowell, Cole Custer is going to be lower owned, and so honestly, I think this should be the pool. I understand that it can go green. I understand that it's not, you hate the way it feels to not have money on Buescher, or not as much money on Buescher and Kyle Busch and Bubba, but the blue guys here are the people that I want to focus on. I'm going to add Ty Dillon here. I'll eat whatever ownership Ty Dillon has because I like the way Ty Dillon approaches these races. That's how it is. But LaJoie, I want to try and be under the field. Now, I'll probably end up being over the field anyway because I'm probably going to have I know for a fact going to have over 50 Ware, over 50 Yaley, over 50 BJ, over 50 Castle. I already know that. Just looking at how I'm at, I'll probably be over 50% on Ty Dillon. That'll probably still be over the field. So, but I'm fine with that. Maybe even with me, being underweight, in my opinion, is still with the field on LaJoie or Gillen, wherever the case is there. That's just how I look at it. All right. So now that we got there, let's go at 37 of you guys here on this Sunday. Thank you for being here. You could very easily be watching an NFL stream, and I do appreciate that. So let's go ahead and take this off and start looking at the comments and stuff. Bush and Tricks, usually the kind of guy I'd stay away from, but I think people just get. And, you would think that, but when we look back at the ownership for Daytona, that was not the case. So I don't know if people are necessarily going far back and looking at the amount of finishes that we're seeing on our screen. I mean, I know I took it off, but you're able to see it and everything. I don't know if people are looking that far back because Kyle Busch was owned. He was in the 20s. I mean, we see typically 3 guys above 35% owned, and we see a lot of guys in the 20s and stuff. But in terms of why would we play, Kyle Busch with the field, he'll probably end up being around I would honestly look at 28, 29% ownership. Bubba will probably be over 40 and stuff. And Truex will probably also be added in because Truex has finished last 4 super speedway races, including Atlanta. If you include Atlanta, it's been 6 races that Truex has not DNF'd in. I think that bumps up ownership, and specifically when people want to stack JGR because they know they're going to run together, they know they're going to pit together. I think Truex, Kyle Busch, and Wallace just get a bump from that in general. So that's where we're at there. Oh yeah, you did. I'm sorry, Wes. I didn't even notice this. Thank you very much for being a channel supporter, Patreon supporter. I'm glad that it worked out for you. Yeah, I loved it, man. It was a good race, man. I liked it. So good morning, Big. Good morning, Clutch. Thank you guys for being here. What's going on, Brian? The highest I went was Blaney in one line. Too high of a start position for you. I would not. So if look, this is where I'm at. If you do 4 lines, I would not play Blaney. If you're doing 4 lines, play your Bubba. But Blaney will be the highest owned driver, probably in the teens, to be honest with you. Chase Elliott might come close, but when you look at Blaney being optimal 4 times at Talladega, once at Daytona, in situations where he is nearly almost always qualified top 20, in a situation where we just came off a huge ownership play on him at Daytona. If you like Ryan Blaney, play Keselowski, play Austin Dillon. Actually, if you like Blaney, play Justin Haley. That's what I would do. If you have Blaney, play Haley and call it a day. I understand, just not for me. That's just where I'm at. If you're playing a guy in the teens, I mean, dude, I just can't do it, man. Oh, Hamlin's going to carry ownership as well. Yeah, I don't know if you guys remember back. Maybe this was last year or the year before. I think it was last year. Maybe in the spring Talladega race or something. Hamlin started on pole, and he had a shitload of ownership, and I went on the record saying the fucker could lead 80 laps and not be optimal. So Hamlin is going to carry a lot of ownership. Larson's going to carry a ton of ownership. And in this type of race with the playoffs on the line, I know like that stuff is made up and it doesn't matter, but it really does here. These guys are going to be racing. Hopefully we just get somebody to blow a tire in the pack. That'd be fantastic. I'm not playing Hamlin. I'm not doing anybody in the top 10. It's not, no, I am not, don't be sorry. I am not, I'm just explaining how it went, but it is not a situation of where I'm mad at myself. As I said, I'm very happy with the lines. I had so many non-duplicated lines. I was very, very happy. Same thing here, this race. I mean, look, I got nearly $600 in NFL stuff today. I'm probably going to have, 800 or something. It depends on if they open it up another 15 for this Cup Series race. Probably gonna have like 800 or something on there. If there's no wreck, I lose that. That's perfectly okay with me. So you don't got to be sorry and being aggressive. If they wreck, dude, it's fantastic. If the Xfinity Series wrecks, with like 3 to go, which they were trying to, it's not even funny how well those lines do. So I'm not mad at all at any of that. Let's see. Yeah, I think Custer's a fantastic play. I think Custer is absolutely an awesome play. That's where I'm at there. I would not play Blaney. I guarantee you, I would put $20 down that Blaney is over 25% in that 121, if not higher. I think Blaney would push higher in that contest. I'm telling. And how big is that contest? Let me see real fast. I mean, I like the way I play. I like running a ton of lines, but I want to see how big this 121 is. Oh, 110. I can't fucking play that. That is way too small. Contests are terrible, man. Yeah, Blaney will probably be. Blaney will probably be around 20. He'll probably be higher. It'll probably be right at like 22, 23% in that. At least that's what I would imagine, if not higher. If I was playing that one, I would absolutely just play fucking guys from 30th to 37th, man, and call it a fucking day. That's what I would do. Yeah, even the 44, that's just too damn small, man. Did the 4 fill up? We got another 4 out there. Yeah, the 4 is about to fill up, so we'll probably get another 4 with 2 hours left. I'm praying to God that we get a decent $15 contest that pops up again when this first one fills. That'd be awesome. FanDuel, it's the same thing. I'm just playing the guys in the back. I'm playing guys that aren't going to be owned. FanDuel, my pool is Cole Custer, McDowell, Dylan Allgaier, LaJoy Castle, Gill, and BJ, Yaley, and Ware. Those are the only people I'm playing on FanDuel. Thank you very much. Thank you for always retweeting my stuff. Thank you for always liking my tweets and everything. I do appreciate it. Thank you for always supporting my stuff, and I do appreciate that. Let's see. Yet again, 43 of you guys here on a Sunday morning. Like, thank you for being here and everything like that. For those of you that are just joining, we went over where I think the ownership is going to go. I broke it down, highlighted drivers. You can go back and rewatch at 1.5 or 2x. Very similar to the video that I did on Friday. I mean, that's how I go and approach this stuff. I'm very much okay if none of my lines cash today. I'm not even going to be mad. So that's just how I approach these races. Past that, what's going on with my blanket? You guys want to rant? You guys want to joke around? I think we've covered about everything here. You guys know where I want to go. Let's see here. MNG, let's see. To the talk to you guys. I mean, and I mean, you do that, man. It's whatever you want to do. People understand that I'm aggressive. I love these guys, man. I've been doing this ever since I've started playing DraftKings. I am always playing the back markers. So if you ask me, I'm going to tell you to play JJ and BJ. Okay, is that going to work? I mean, we'll see. You need people to wreck out. Okay, and so if they don't like, I don't know if you guys looked at some of the fucking lines played yesterday in Xfinity. I know I won't say who tweeted this, and I won't say who played this line. But like people are playing Clements, Bain, Herbst, Yaley, AJ, and Castle, which we specifically called out the AJ and Castle play because Hemrick is a fucking scrub and he ain't gonna be there. But that's the type of lines that people played for Xfinity. Worked out. It stayed green. If those people wreck, those lines are dead in the water. And for me, in this race where I think you have the greatest amount of lever, it is a lottery ticket. It's a roulette wheel. I'm just not going to play guys that people are playing. I want to be on my own boat. And I mean, Grant, I could say I've already had my win this year. Like I could just not win for the rest of the year and be perfectly fine with it. But I'm just going to keep playing guys that are just not played and stuff, Yeah, that's what I would do. That is kind of where I'm at there. Let's talk real fast about, Jordan Anderson nearly killing himself on national television. That was pretty nuts. I've seen enough live leak. I've seen enough Gore Forms video. I mean, I was watching that and I was like, dude, he's going to hit that wall and he's going to get squished like a bug or lose his leg or whatever the case was. That was so incredibly lucky, unbelievably lucky. That was absolutely nuts. That was pretty freaking nuts. And that guy running out to grab that tire in Xfinity. What are we doing, man? It was like amateur hour yesterday. It was nuts, and I could say that as a man who's never had to get out of a burning vehicle, but man, dude, Anderson, you almost crippled yourself for life, man. He almost broke his back. Like it's insane. Secondly, now this hasn't come out yet. This is just me speculating, so nobody cancel me. From talking with some people who are in the industry, and I don't know if this is the case, but some of these drivers are running 1-layer and 2-layer fire suits. That's your own damn fault. And this isn't about Anderson, but in any form of motorsports, like if you run a 1 or 2-layer fire suit and you get burns, that's your own fault. I'm not saying a 3-layer is going to save you in that sense or in that situation. But look, if you go cheap on your fire suits, if you're running 1-layer, I can't, be shocked that you got burns and stuff. I don't know if that's the case for Anderson. I don't. People are saying that his whole right sleeve was burned off. It didn't look like that to me. I'm sure there was parts that were burned through. or it clearly like went under the suit from either the connection of where, you know, he had his gloves and his sleeves not tightened correctly or as good as it was, whatever the case is. Um, you know, if people are running cheap suits, I really can't feel bad for them. Yeah, that dude ran out. I was thinking like Haley Deegan's crew guy when she ran out, because that was the main pack that pitted. But we had a back marker pack, you know, around like 10 seconds back. That dude, if they choose to go down pit lane there, they are smacking that guy, and we're seeing a Kevin Ward instant all over again. Like we had like 2 near-death experiences yesterday, and it was absolutely wild. And people were like, "Well, you know, they should suspend that." No, fucking fire that dude. That's the dumbest shit imaginable. I don't know how you aren't familiar with what happened at Atlanta. You know, when Childress went over the mic and said, if anybody does that, you will not be working for RCR again. Like, you should absolutely be fired if you do something that stupid. It's baffling. Like, you don't even see that like local short track race. You don't see people chase a tire. That is ridiculous. Let that tire go through. Hey, newsflash. The team bought like 20 tires on the weekend. That's not our only right rear tire. What is going on here? No, you're good. I know you're probably behind a bit. Yeah, I mean, Hamlin is going to be high owned. That's why I'm saying, like, look, sure, this race might go green. We all take that risk, you know. If it doesn't, there's just a clump of ownership in the 20s. There's a clump of ownership in the teens with Elliott and Blaney. And there's going to be a clump of ownership with Hamlin and Larson and anybody else who plays people in the top 10. Dude, the leverage play is huge this week. That's why I love this starting grid. I love it. We can see where people are going to go and just hope to God that they get involved in wrecks. I'm telling you, every lap I'm going to be like, somebody please turn Bubba. Somebody please turn Kyle Busch. You know, just wreck the shit out of Hamlin. Wreck the shit out of Blaney, you know, and when it happens, we're going to be celebrating. And if it doesn't, you know, we're just going to be kicking sand or kicking rocks. That's how it'll be. They don't man. So and I was talking to other people. Now they don't work for like cup teams and stuff, and they aren't involved in like the officiating stuff. But even when we look at different race suits, like you have Alpine Stars, you have the Simpsons, that stuff isn't necessarily mandated. Like of what, like it's recommended that they have that. I believe the only thing mandated is a head and neck restraint, and we're noticing that more and more guys are using the Simpson stuff because I think that's a better head and neck restraint than the Hans. Not just due to pricing and stuff, but I think it's much more comfortable and allows drivers to have, you know, more control of what they're at, because you're a lot more restricted when you're running a Hans and stuff. Now, if you don't tighten it correctly, you're going to be like Stenhouse, where you're like basically hitting the steering wheel at Daytona and stuff. However, I'm pretty sure that's the only stuff mandated. Maybe they mandate like a 2-layer suit and stuff, but you know, if the reports are true that Anderson's like sleeve burned off and there was like gigantic holes, and like it's different because from what I read, his burns on his right leg, you know, his right arm, his back and stuff. But if you're running like a proper fire suit, even doused in gas, because I know the you know, the gas line broke, but that happened under. So the fire's coming out from, you know, behind the deck, or not the deck. The what is it called? You know, where the gauges are, the dash. Like if it's coming through the dash and over the dash and stuff, if you're running a 3-layer suit that like promises like 20-30 seconds of fire retardant behavior, like you're not getting that type of burns, man. And you know, come on. I know Anderson doesn't have a ton of money. There's no way he's spending like $8,000 on a real fire suit like that. Nobody's talking about this. It's crazy, you know. That's just how it is. It really is, man. It's fucking nuts. I feel so alive. And God, dude, it's awesome when Gregson is saying, I don't want to wreck because I'm afraid to get hurt. Like, you know, we're in for a real race. Man, we are back in the 80s. I love it. You know, oh my God. I honestly, the only way NASCAR makes a return to like actually giving a shit about it's the same thing with like Tua, you know, they didn't give a fuck about his player safety. It doesn't fucking matter. The NFL doesn't give a shit. NASCAR, they don't give a shit. The only way it'll change is if we have a fatality. Like, that's the only way it is. We're having concussions. We're having guys get injured. We're having wear, you know, have fractured ankle and stuff and torn ligaments. They don't give a shit. You know what they told the drivers? Well, you're just going to have to wait for next year. Can't do anything about it now. Like, what? Dude, that's a big I don't give a shit attitude, man. NASCAR, they don't care. So we really do have a huge percentage of possible death or injury or whatever today. And I love it, man. We're feeling alive. Yeah, I mean, it's the Beard Motorsports machine. That car, it's an RCR car. Just look at it that way. RCR supplied chassis, RCR supplied motor. It's an RCR car. Yeah, and I understand that it happened in the 80s or 90s too in an ARCA crash as well, but fuck, man, you can't do that. I know he doesn't. I know he doesn't. I know he doesn't know where he is, and I know he didn't want to wreck and bring wreck into the pack on fire. You don't want to do that. And I assume that the fire was so hot that it burned or not burned, or I mean, it could have burned through the brake line, but it probably overheated the brake oil so much that where the brakes just weren't working in general. But fuck, dude. Like he gets out 3 seconds sooner, he's crushed between the wall and the car. You know? Like he's leaning out a bit more, he's crushed. You know, he gets one leg out. Like I have no idea how Anderson isn't crippled for the rest of his life. I have no idea how he didn't witness just a dude like an OSHA, accident level of death to where they have to show people don't do it. It was wild. It was absolutely crazy, And what's going on, McGee? I know, dude. I'm ready for some big ass wrecks. We're gonna be in Winston. We're gonna be laughing. I'm gonna be with you, man. This whole time, it's gonna be let's tear up some shit, man. But yeah, man, he could have lost his legs. He could have been killed. It's nuts, man. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. We are going back in time, man. We really are going back in time. And then not only in the same race that we see somebody wiggle out of a car while it's moving on fire and nearly kill himself, that same race somebody decides to chase a tire across a hot pit lane closer to the racetrack than the pits in a place where we have seen cars go through the grass when people wreck. That was absolutely wild. That truck race was filled with so much stupidity. It was insane. It was insane. I know, man. I just want to barrel roll, man. I want to flip. I want to see what happens, man. I want some big incidents today. I know this is one where I was clearly I didn't win a ton of money on the Newman incident. But I remember the guy who won that GPP shared that he won the GPP that day, and everybody was giving him shit because they didn't know if Newman was even alive. Fuck that, dude. If we win today and somebody fucking dies, I'll be mad if they cancel the race. I'll be like, dude, that's some bullshit. But man, if somebody's injured, coming to the checkered flag, and I win, I'm absolutely sharing that stuff. Yeah, they really should, man. That was absolute ARCA shit, man. And then, did you guys see? First off, them throwing the yellow at where they did for the Truck Series? Just move the finish line to the right spot if they're going to do that. I don't understand the reasoning throwing the yellow there. They're a second away from the checkered flag. That makes no sense. NASCAR and Hocevar. We had three things yesterday. We had the hat trick of stupidity. Hocevar, what a legend. The man sat there, turned his car off, basically staring at the starter stand or at the flag stand, waiting for them to throw that yellow. Oh my God, what are we doing? It was insane. I wish they would just kept it green, then just have the field plow in the. Well, no, let me change that. They did. So, what's the difference? Be honest here. What's the difference between Hocevar waiting at the start finish line and Myatt Snyder wrecking at the end of that race? In my opinion, there's no difference. They're both torn up cars because Hocevar had a flat tire. And if anything, Snyder's in more of a danger. Because can you imagine? And we were saying this in TeamSpeak. Because Snyder had huge damage. So he's doing 30 on the apron, entering 3. I was like, come on, guys. wreck the field. Let's hit Snyder. Let's just tear some shit up and make sure we careen into Snyder. Like, NASCAR is absolutely just on a razor's edge of killing somebody out of their own stupidity. Like, not even with the safety aspects of the next gen car, but their safety calls, their yellow calls, it's baffling. It's incredibly wild. 45 of you guys here. We're kind of goofing around right now, having some fun and stuff. If you guys want to look at the DFS approach and where I think ownership is going to go, you can go back to the start of this and watch like 1 or 2x or 1.5x and 2x and stuff, and see where I'm at, see what I'm looking at in terms of what I want to do in lineup construction. But dude, it was insane. I'm hoping we get some gigantic wrecks today. I thought they were too. Like, that's such a bad idea. Like, it's bad when we're like, oh my god, they're gonna take the white and throw the yellow because of Snyder. Like, that is how we think of things. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. So in the truck race, I think it was Kaz Gralla. It was either Gralla or Parker. It was one of the young motorsports guys. He's in a white truck in the center of the track. He takes out like 4 more guys coming across the line. I don't know if you guys rewatched it, but like, so, the 51 flies up to the wall, comes back down to the 9 car. These guys wreck out. The leaders start wrecking coming to the line, but there's like 4 white cars that make it through, like, both wrecks. They clear the 9 car almost flipping. They clear everybody coming through the grass. They clear freezing flying through and hitting pit lane. And then somebody just plows into them. Like, somebody no lifts and takes out like 4 more cars or 4 more trucks in the truck race. It's fucking wild, man. Let's see this. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't play cash. If I'm playing single entry, I'll tell you my line for single entry would be Ware, Yaley, BJ, Castle. You choose the final 2 guys. And I would not start anybody. I would not play Stenhouse, Kyle Busch, Wallace, Custer. I like throwing a single entry line in the NASCAR stuff, but these contests are just bad in my opinion. I don't like these lines. Maybe the 12. I don't know. I don't think there's enough. I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze, in my opinion, in the single entry contest that we have right now. But that's just what I would do. I'll just play everybody that nobody's playing. Let's see. I keep getting more and more followers, and these guys do not know what they're signing up for, man. Because I'll gain like 7 followers on Twitter, then I'll lose 7 followers on Twitter with like 1 tweet. It's insane. I'm not playing anybody inside the top 15. That's just no man's land for me. And I would probably not play anybody inside the top 19. That's where I would be. And if you take out Truex, actually, let's go with the pool that I actually do feel comfortable with. It'd be where's my hand at? It'd be Dillon, Haley, Busher, Custer, McDowell, Dillon, Allgaier, LaJoie, Castle, Gillen, BJ, Yaley, and Ware. That's 13 cars. That's honestly the pool that I like the most. Hey man, we haven't heard about DFS Tavern in a long time. Thank you very much for joining, commenting here. I'm glad that you've been a long time follower. For that, I mean, that's like 2 years ago at this point, 2-3 years ago. Man, it's a shame that Anzo doesn't make as much content anymore. That was a fun gig. Man, how so much time has passed since then. That was 2 apartments ago too. But thank you very much. Thank you for just being a long-time viewer, long-time supporter, and still being here, man. You don't get people still being here if you're doing bad content. So thank you very much for being here. I do appreciate it. And if you just joined, you can go back. I'll probably end up stopping this next 5 minutes to give you guys an hour to mess with your NFL stuff and your NFL lines and things like that. But yeah, if you go back and rewatch the start of this race, or the start of this video, you'll hear more of the DFS takes that I have. Let's see here. Let's see. 63. It's kind of wild how close this Minnesota New Orleans game is, man. It's pretty nuts. All right, what else we got? Thoughts on Brad Keselowski? I like him. I like him more than I certainly like him more than Blaney and Cindric and Elliott. Brad knows what he's doing. Look at how well he runs, specifically here at Talladega. It leans very much to Brad's driving style. I think Brad should probably carry more ownership than he is going to. If you are going to play anybody in the top 20 to 15 that I think has real understanding of how to race and a good chance to win the race, it would be Brad over Elliott and Blaney. That's where I'm at there. Yeah, I have. This is the line that I went with. I got Dalton, Jefferson, Cook, Olave, Mark Ingram, and Traquan. So we'll see what happens. We are currently, I'm at 66 points right now. Cash line is at 60 or at 72. Most of my lines. So just need something from Andy Dalton. I'll take another touchdown from Traquan, Ingram. Whatever happens there. Yeah, that was a good move there, dude. Let's see. Here, let's talk football real fast. We'll probably end it there. Let's talk main slate. I don't even know what week this is. This week 4 or week 5? I don't. I think it's week 4. I have had a tremendous start this year. Cash in every single main slate. I'm up probably like $3,500 on NFL alone. I was on week 1. I think I played Carr. That was my main stack with Adams and stuff. I played Tua and Hill the week that they went off. I played Josh Allen. I think that was last week with Diggs. This week, I'm trying to, first off, yet again, I just fade the chalk there. I've been playing a lot of Chubb. This will be the first time I don't play Chubb. I'm going to play Austin Eckler. I'm going to play Aaron Jones. I'm going to play Josh Jacobs today. I like Jacoby Brissett. I like Amari Cooper. That'll be my quarterback and wide receiver. Those are the main guys that I like today, the ones that I'm putting the money on. I think this is a situation where if you're paying up for Josh Allen, if you're paying up for Lamar, if you're paying up for quarterback, it makes it difficult because you're down outside the ownership, or you're down in the 4K ranges in the wide receiver, and you're going to be forced to play the chalk running backs. I don't like that. I like the 5K wide receivers this week. That's probably where I would go. And that's my quick opinion on NFL. So we'll see how that goes. I got about $600 on that. Let's see. Yeah, dude, Brian Hoyer back out there. That's gonna be nuts. Yeah, we'll see what happens with this Talladega race. Hopefully, we get some big ass wrecks. I just want that. If we're getting wrecks, I'm cheering, man. And if the Rick Ware cars wreck by themselves early in the race, I will kill myself. I will be tilted at that. That's about the only way I get tilted on these plate races, if my fucking back markers kill themselves early in the race. But I'll let you guys go ahead and go. I'll let you guys, enjoy the rest of your day, build lines for NFL and stuff like that. And I will see you guys later. Thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting me, supporting Pearce, and just being a consistent viewer of the program. I do appreciate it. Oh, what is this? Hold on. I like some race move. Just temporary for the move, or will it all be set up? No. I mean, I use this. So I raced on Friday. I have a league race every Sunday with Winstel. It's plugged in and everything. I mean, it's not like plugged in the computer right now. I move it to where this seat is, but I've had this rig for 8 years. A lot of people ask me that. I had Monica ask me that yesterday. I've had, you asked me about this today. It's not just temporary. I typically, like in my old apartment, I just had out of view of the camera I had on my left side here. I still got boxes and everything I'm still unpacking. I'll probably do more of it. I'll probably unpack more Monday just because I wanted a break for a couple days. But yeah, this is the G27 that I use, that I've been using for years. And I mean, it'll probably just end up being part of the backdrop now, because with this wall behind me, I'm kind of too, like, the echo, like, it doesn't echo nearly as bad in this room as it did the last one, so I probably won't put up the foam again. I'll probably just leave the chair here in the background. It's easy. It's out of the way for my normal stuff, and I just slide it where I'm at right now when I want to race and stuff. Let's see. But yeah, I mean, dude, I sim race a lot, man. I'm on iRacing like every week. I can't wait to get a new computer so I can actually join official sessions without taking 40 minutes to load a track, because I'm on an old computer. But I'm always on iRacing. Typically more in league sessions. Just I can't really load into a lot of hosted or a lot of official sessions anymore, and iRacing is pretty toxic. So I typically just chill with friends and do a lot of league sessions and stuff. But I run the here, we'll even talk about that real fast. I run rod car. I run rod car on Fridays. I've been with these guys for quite a lot of time. I've been with them quite a few years now. We got 3 races there. Those are a long time ago. These are like, let's check out results. I mean, this is probably like 2016, maybe 17. Yeah, my first win was in 2016 for these guys. So I've been with Rodcar for a while. We just finished up the season 25 on Friday. I think season 26 starts next week. I couldn't run all the races because I was moving and stuff. Finished 21st in points. Only started 8 races out of the 12. This is broadcasted every week on Puffer Zone on Twitch. And let me bring up Winstall real fast. So the Winstall Cup Racing Series is the series that I have raced with the longest. I've been with them since 2015, 2014. We're the ones that host the Winstall 400, which was changed from the name of the I've Got Balls 250. Let's get this here. Let me see stats and rules and series overview. It's a spreadsheet. Where's the main? We've gone back and forth to doing, like, what is it? We've gone back and forth between like doing like, our own series with Winstall. This year, I say we because I sponsored the series, but I'm not like an admin or anything. We did like 20-ish or 25 seasons of like, 10 round seasons and stuff for a long time, switching between like the old K&N car and stuff from like 2016. Up this year, we started the 2006, throwback series. So everybody in here runs just a car that ran in 2006. So clearly I'm Tony Stewart. Haven't been able to start other races. We're 19 races in. These guys in the playoffs, just 10 races. I mean, we're copying basically the schedule from 06, just removing some races here and there. Next year, we're doing a 2003, basically an NR 2003, or not an NR 2003 themed season, but we're doing the NASCAR IRL season of 2003. I'm going to hopefully get the Talladega 54 car so I can be in the 54 again. This is where I'm at. I haven't been able to do a lot of races. I'm pretty bad, Clearly I missed Kansas last weekend due to moving. Suck at road courses. But this is what I do. I sim race every week. I'm a huge sim racer. Everybody in here are awesome guys. Zach Campbell's coach for VRS. I don't remember. Forgive me, Zach. I don't remember. Jose, you see him right now racing in the college series. We've seen a lot of road to pro drivers, or seen a lot of road to pro races. Nicholas, fantastic racer. We used to have we had more of the peak guys. We might have had some peak guys start some races this year. Like Graham, peak driver. I don't like other people. Good community, man. Everybody here is always happy. If you have iRacing, you can join the Discord and stuff. That's what I'm sorry I'm going on like a huge long tangent for you guys, but I like iRacing. I like sim racing. I like the communities on here. That's where I'm at there. Let's see. No problem, Darren. I'm happy that we were able to help you out and everything. And I'm glad that you did well. And yeah, man, DFS Tavern. I miss it, man. It's crazy that I think it's like, man, I've been outside of DFS. I haven't been on DFS Tavern in a long time now. I know Anzo comes back and does some things here and there, but that's how it is. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I think it's a good spot, man. Cooper's 63. There's a good chance he scores over 20 points, depending on what projections you're using. He's got a solid floor of 16. Jacoby. Did I play Trevor Lawrence? Who did I play this last weekend? I think I did that on Yahoo or something. But like all you need from like Jacoby, get us like 18 points, 17 points. We're perfectly fine. If he does anything more than that in a competitive game in Atlanta, I like it, man. I like it. It's expensive. It's a big barrier to entry. iRacing is a huge barrier to entry with how stupid expensive that thing is. And I mean, I've had iRacing since 2013. I have nearly every track, nearly every car, at least on the oval side. I have some road stuff. I just don't like road racing. But that's expensive in and of itself. Got to have a good computer to run it. That's the main reason why I'm looking to get the new computer, so I can run iRacing like pretty decently. What was I going to say? Oh yeah. You can catch the Winstel on Twitch, on ftf.gg, and on their YouTube channel. All the Winstel races are broadcast as well. The Winstel 400 this year, I know I'm putting 500 into it. I'm sure Emily's going to match that as well. So we'll probably have another purse of $1,000 with race in January. I'm also putting $1,000 towards the payouts for Winstel next year for the entire season, to making sure all the broadcasts are covered, making sure we can actually pay our drivers well, because we don't like running an entry fee and stuff. I think we'll probably have another $5 entry fee for the season. But like the Winstel 400, that's not an entry fee. It's just a big event that you just have to race your way into. That's why I hate like the Firecracker 400 that, the big guys host, that, Podium is a part of, that, Landon Castle is a part of, because they're fucking over everybody in those races, everybody who pays like the $50 or $25 to get in that race is getting fucked. There's no reason you should pay that much. And Podium is keeping way more. They're making hand over fist over profit. And I hate that. Sim racing is filled, just like real racing, is filled with people taking advantage of people, taking people's money. That's why for our Winstel 400 race in January, we don't like having an entry fee, because we don't think you shouldn't be treating people that bad. Anyway, been live for an hour. I will see you guys later next week. And best of luck today. We'll see you guys later.